Russia was then accused of invading the Crimean Peninsula in Ukraine. A tenuous ceasefire is now in effect. To discuss the conflict, let's bring in Walter Zaritsky, the executive director of the Center for U.S.-Ukrainian Relations. So, Walter, Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko believes that Russia was behind some of the sniper fire that killed protesters a year ago. Is there any truth to that?
Actually, it's a triple play. You can start with him using lending Yanukovych sniper teams. Obviously, these are folks that were superb shots, who shot both at police and at the protesters. So that was his first attempt to bring in Russians into the play. Then the Russians, obviously his little green men took Crimea, and now it's clear. It is now clear. There's no doubt separatists don't have the kind of advanced equipment that these guys are running around with. This third time, he's actually in there full blast with equipment that is as advanced as you can get. And it's very scary for all of Europe, as well as Ukraine. So, yes, Poroshenko is right. We've just seen an increase. And as long as there's no one saying stop, I think he's going to continue going.
In light of all that, do you think that there's any possibility that a ceasefire could hold?
Well, let's put it this way. This last ceasefire was a joke because actually the Ukrainians were in better shape before the ceasefire. They had Debaltseve on one hand. They were doing a counterattack in Mariupol on the other hand. And the Americans were promising some guns. Or at least it seemed like the Senate was ready in a bipartisan way. Suddenly, Merkel and Hollande end up showing up in both Kyiv and Moscow and come up with a new ceasefire, which puts everybody in Ukraine at a disadvantage. They've got to pull back their equipment, but the Russians and Putin are not pulling back their equipment. They've gone on offense. And so at some point, Ukraine is in worse shape after this Minsk II than it was before the ceasefire.
All right.
And so it's silly at this point.
Okay, so who's paying the price with all the fighting? I assume you would say the Ukrainian citizens.
Well, it's funny. But look at who the Ukrainian citizens. It's the exact folksmen that Putin said that he was about to defend, those Russian speakers. Actually, the Russian-speaking Ukrainians have lived in peace with Ukrainian-speaking Ukrainians throughout all the years. And in effect, the ones that are the greatest cost of all is for the Russian-speaking Ukrainians and the Russian ethnics in eastern Ukraine. They're the ones taking the brunt of this entire slaughter because western and central Ukraine lives in peace. You can see the pictures out of Kyiv. I mean, folks are not at war. Whereas the real slaughter is happening in the exact area that Putin said he was trying to save. So I don't know what he's trying to do with this new incursion.
Mm-hmm. And just quickly, tens of thousands of people have been displaced. What is the situation in Ukraine right now?
Well, the displacement at this point is controllable. But at some point, if he moves further, if it's true that new equipment has been moved in the last 2 days. Today, Senator Durbin and Senator McCain took a big step. They wrote a bipartisan letter to Secretary Kerry saying that it's time for us to make a stand. I mean, you just cannot continue this because what you can face is not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, but talks about millions of people being displaced right on the border of a peaceful Europe, and that doesn't look right.
So, all right, we'll see what happens. Thanks very much, Walter, for
joining us.
All right, thank you. You're watching Arise News Now.